What is up, though, Lions fans? It's your boy Motor City Don P here, and we are back with yet another Detroit Lions draft video. Now, we know the draft has been over for about a week now, a little bit over a week and some change, but we still got some things coming out about what happened in the draft, whose opinion is what is the grade, and all these things. So we've got one today from Greg Cosell as he analyzes the Lions 2025 draft class. This is an article from Tim 20 Shout out Tim 20 He is the senior writer for DetroitLions.com. So he says executive producer and analyst for NFL Matchup and senior producer at NFL Films, Greg Cosell, has been kind enough to break down the Lions draft class for DetroitLions.com in each of the past 12 seasons and has agreed to do so for a 13th year. Cosell's opinions are based on countless hours watching film and evaluating these prospects. He is one of the most honest evaluators in the business and is well respected among NFL circles. I smell a very, very positive Lions draft review coming here. Let's see what Mr. Cosell has to say. You can follow him on X, formerly Twitter, at Greg Cosell. That's GregCossell. Here's what he had to say about the Lions 2025 draft class. Note, Cassell evaluated 5 of Detroit's 7 picks in total in this year's draft cycle, so he didn't do all 7. Defensive line, Tyleik Williams from No State University, round 1, number 28 overall. Cassell says Williams' 2023 and 2024 tape showed a highly talented defensive tackle prospect with all the traits needed to be a quality and at times dominating interior defensive tackle with his desirable combination of strength, power, quickness, and athleticism that showed up both as a one gap and two gap interior defensive lineman. Williams had dominant flashes throughout his tape in which he beat offensive guards with quickness, off the ball, and short stroke power with strong, heavy hands to displace and drive back. Williams showed all the necessary traits demanded to play as both a one gap defensive tackle and two gap defensive tackle, with the issue and the concern being his inability to play to those high level traits with the consistency you would ideally like to see. So he's inconsistent. I remember when he was drafted, I think it was NFL Network that said that his weakness was he has trouble finishing. So let's see if that will pop up throughout the year. Hopefully it will not. And throughout his career, however long he is here. Says Williams predominantly lined up at 3 technique and 4 eye, with the question being whether that is where he will project and transition at the next level, or will he be seen more as an athletic 1 technique and 2 eye given his size and mass. At his best, Williams can be an effective 3 technique, showing the kind of lateral and gap quickness demanded of that alignment, but there will be NFL teams that will see him as a 1 technique and 2 eye defensive tackle with his short stroke power and point of attack strength, with heavy hands and powerful grip strength to deconstruct blocks and displace interior offensive linemen. So whatever you guys think about Tyleik, make sure you leave your comments below. I'm not going to argue with the film. I'm just going to say, ball don't lie, film don't lie. Shout out AG or Spirit of Detroit. He has a series called Film Don't Know. Actually, it's Tape Don't Lie. Don't misquote me. I don't want to misquote the man. But anyway, shout out to him. Whatever you think about Tyleik Williams, leave your comments in the comment section below as we move on to Tate Ratledge. Interior offensive lineman Tate Ratledge, Georgia, round 2, number 57 overall. Cosell says that Ratledge's 2023 and 2024 tape showed a consistent and effective right guard prospect who executed all the responsibilities demanded of him in the Georgia run game and pass game, although there were concerns at times with one-on-one pass protection in which he struggled to control and sustain at times, having balance and body control issues. So we're going to be looking for holding called on Tate Ratledge. Will that be an overabundance? Will it be a Terrion Arnold situation. Will he not trust his technique? Will he get too grabby? And if an offensive lineman gets too grabby, that's a lot of holding. So we got to watch out for that and see if it pops up during the season. So Ratledge was at his best as a run blocker, executing base and drive blocks with short area strength and power and finishing with a competitive edge. Ratledge's tape showed an offensive guard prospect whose identity and profile was that of a physical and competitive player whose aggressiveness and finishing traits consistently stood out, but he must continue to improve his balance and body control both as a run blocker and in pass protection. All right. The pièce de résistance, the coup de grâce, as you call it. It is wide receiver Isaac Tesla. I've heard all three of those variations. I probably believe it's Tesla because there's two ways. No, he is not the grandson or the nephew of Elon Musk because Elon Musk's last name is not Tesla or Tesla. Get it? Okay. All right. So Arkansas, round 3, number 70 overall, the pick in which they traded up 32 spots. We will see what he has to say about him. So Cosell says Tesla's 2024 tape showed one of the most intriguing wide receiver prospects in the 2025 draft class with his outstanding height, weight, speed profile, and athletic testing measurables that few receivers in the class possess. Tesla at Arkansas was almost exclusively a slot receiver. 80% of targets in 2023 and 2024 came inside in slot alignments. And his tape showed that he effectively worked between the numbers at all three levels of the defense with the speed to run the vertical seam. Tesla showed strong hands and outstanding body control, snatching the ball easily away from his frame and making high difficulty catches, including going up and high pointing the ball when demanded. While Tesla was predominantly a slot receiver at Arkansas, his projection and transition to the NFL could be more expansive depending on team and scheme. While it is not likely certain or certainly early in his career that Tesla, every time I say his name, I'm just going to say it that way, Tesla would become a boundary X wide receiver, although that could happen over time with his traits profile. He could line up as an outside receiver in offenses that feature reduced splits as a foundation of their pass game. Plus, he is an excellent blocker, which is increasingly important in run games where wide receivers are aligned tight to the formation. So, whatever you think about Isaac Tesla, make sure you put the comments in the comment section below. All right. And I forgot to ask you to do that for Tate Ratledge, but do that for Tate Ratledge as well. Um, on to interior offensive lineman Miles Frazier out of LSU, round 5, number 171 overall. Cosell says big frame with solid mass and thick, dense build with good arm length for an offensive guard. I'm just going to just say pause. And however your mind processes that information, I'm just saying pause. All right, let's move on. Looks the part of an interior offensive lineman. In pass protection, he got out of stance quickly, setting his base, balance, and body control in position to block. Pass protection snaps in which he showed efficient mirror ability with lateral movement and active hand usage. Pass protection snaps with awareness and accelerated vision, recognizing and reacting to stunts and pressures. Deployed as a puller at times in gap scheme, run game, and while not plus athlete, showed strong force on contact. Strength on contact as down blocker, generating power with his lower half. He kept feet moving to sustain blocks. He showed the lateral movement and core strength to execute front side reach blocks. He's able to get his hips turned. These seem to just be notes. They're a bit they're coherent, but you know what I mean. All right, zone run game snaps in which he showed functional lateral movement to execute backside cutoff blocks, strong snaps off combo blocks, then climbing to second level. He stayed balanced with the power to generate force, outstanding playing personality, competitive and physically tough with nasty finishing traits. attitude player. Not a plus athlete for the offensive guard position, lateral agility and redirect versus quickness off the ball and counters. Possesses very small hands for an offensive lineman at only 9 inches. He has small hands, but he's not a quarterback. A critical factor that could be prohibitive for some NFL teams, tendency as a run blocker to come off the ball too high, which negatively impacted power generation on contact. Frazier's 2024 tape showed all the needed attributes demanded to develop into a quality starting offensive guard at the next level. Whatever you think about Miles Frazier, make sure you put it in the comment section below, and we'll get talking about it. All right. Now, this guy wasn't my favorite receiver in the draft. Oh, no, he wasn't the best receiver in the draft, but he was my favorite. I'm not being truthful when I say he was my favorite receiver in the draft. I didn't have a favorite receiver in the draft because guess what? I didn't care about receivers in the draft. I didn't look at a single receiver in the draft. If you told me a name outside of Amekpa Agbuka, Luther Burden, or Isaiah Bond because of his, oh, I'm going to run a 4.1 today. I'm going to smash the record. And then he runs a 4.4, right? I don't really know too many of them. You know why? Because I was focused on edge rushers. You know why? Because that is the weakness of this team and we didn't fix it. But, it is what it is. We'll see what happens in the season. Um, Marcus Davenport could stay healthy the entire season. I could also grow to be 7 foot tall and go back in time and rival Shaq on the block. It's fun to dream. Anyway, wide receiver Dominic Leavitt. You gotta love it. Georgia, round 7, number 244 overall. Cosell says Leavitt's tape at both Missouri and Georgia showed a quicker than fast wide receiver who was outstanding working out of the slot in the quick timing passing game and who was often featured on manufactured touches like tunnel screens and jet sweeps to take advantage of his natural twitch and quickness as a dynamic run after catch weapon. Seems like we got a yak monster. All right. Love it at Georgia in 2023 was deployed in specific ways and was highly effective in the context of their passing game, but you did not see a lot of routes versus man coverage where he had to separate at the top of his route stem, although he did more of that in 2022 at Missouri, including running by slot corners and safeties on vertical routes. There is no question he has the natural quickness to do that. In 2023, Lovett was almost exclusively a space player, rarely challenged off the line of scrimmage or through his route stem when he did release vertically, with the question being whether that is the way he will best project to the next level, which then limits how he can be deployed, or will we see a more expanded role in 2024 to give a more expanded role in 2024 to give a larger picture? I think it should. Okay. All right. Let's continue. To give a larger picture of what he can be in the NFL. In 2024, Lovett was again predominantly deployed as quick game receiver with a high percentage of his routes coming within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage or on manufactured touches, but there were snapshots of route running from the slot in which he showed separation quickness at the top of the route stem. So what I'm getting from this is that he needs to work on his routes. He's got to develop his route tree. Okay. Lovett consistently showed excellent run after catch traits with a strong combination of elusiveness and shiftiness in short area bursts, which allows an offense to feature him on tunnel screens and quick game throws in which he has space. My sense watching Lovett is that there is much more to his game than what he was asked to do at Georgia, and there were snapshots of that. At the next level, he can be deployed in multiple ways, including as a movement receiver and the manufactured touches that were predominant in college, and as much more of an intermediate route runner with both separation and route quickness. So whatever you guys think, of a Dominic Levitt, make sure that you put it in the comment section below. Um, hey, we got some interesting players in this draft class. We've got some guys that should do some pretty good things for us. Um, I think Levitt, because you gotta love it, is a guy that we're going to root for. He's going to be our latest 7-round receiver crush, like Antoine Green was. And we'll be rooting for him to make the team. Obviously, he'll be a diet Amon-Ra St. Brown, but even an Amon-Ra St. Brown light is a very, very, very good thing to have when you have Amon-Ra St. Brown, the original, so he can learn from him and hopefully become the same type of dog that Amon-Ra St. Brown is. But that is all I have for today. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you think in your comment section below. And the Motor City Cats, we are back at it. We came to give you stats, none of that static, none of it at all. Whatever you do, make sure you keep your Lions news pragmatic. And we are out. Peace. What up, though, Lions fans? It's your boy, Motor City Don P here. Listen, if you want to continue keeping your Lions news pragmatic, if you want to keep getting the stats and none of that static, make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you share and let everybody know what's going on around here. And turn on your notifications, because how else would you know that we're up in here keeping your Lions news pragmatic? Appreciate you once again, and we are out. Peace.